This is Badir McClary, and welcome to the Reality Talks podcast. On Reality Talks, we speak with working artists and arts professionals on navigating the art world. Through introspective conversation, our guests provide knowledge on the art market, public projects, and the studio and artistic process. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the podcast. We got a special edition today. We chilling in the Fame Yard outside on Melrose, and I got two special guests with me, two amazing artists out in LA. We got Riskie Forever and we got Bart Cooper. Thank y'all for coming to the podcast today.
Man,
appreciate
no
it, man.
Thank you for having me, brother.
You already know. So before we get into this podcast, we just got finished eating at Summer Buffalo, which I gotta say is one of the greatest restaurants in LA. And I'm just giving them a little promo because they just bombed like that. So we just
those chicken wings.
Yo, oh man, those chicken wings.
Chicken wings still be crunchy with the sauce on it.
Still with the sauce. The sauce still got the
crunch. So go cop that crunch.
So we had to show that love to them. But, just wanted to kind of, do a background because Riskie has been a big bro of mine for years, and I've heard all about Bart and seen his work, but I finally got both of these brothers down to sit and actually talk arts with them. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with Riskie. First, Riskie, for everybody that don't know your history, give them a background of who you are.
I mean, I grew up in Compton doing graffiti. And I later landed my job at Death Row Records, my first commercial job, being a commercial artist at Death Row Records. I was responsible for mainly all of the covers except for Doggy Style and the Dog Food album. So, I mean, anywhere from like Death Row's Greatest Hits to Tupac's Makaveli to the insert for the All Eyez on Me. Mainly everything on Death Row, except for those two albums I mentioned.
So, Bart, give everybody an introduction to your work and let them know who you are.
Okay, well, I'm pretty much born and raised West Africa. Moved to the States at age 6 and been doing art since the age of 3. So I've been doing this thing for years, all my life. That's pretty much what I've been doing and working with. And I've been dabbling in many different fields of the art world, from graphic design to computer animation to sculpting to the fine art world, which I find my passion in. So I do a lot of those things too, but business person, also trying to push my business as well as my brand. And I just been doing that for years, man.
Dope. So how did you guys connect? How did it so happen that you guys connected on the art level?
Let me see if he remembers. Go ahead, Riskie.
Hey, we connected through, was it MySpace?
MySpace.
It started off with MySpace
wow.
back in the day. I would see Bart getting up on MySpace, and he dropped a couple of art pieces that I kind of liked. And he always kept telling me to slide through, and then I never would slide through. And I forgot something happened, and I ended up sliding through, and I ended up meeting him. And then we've been cool ever since.
Let me add to that. I was living on the East Coast in Pennsylvania. Riskie, I reached out to Riskie, and I was like, "Yo, this the dude from the Tupac All Eyez on Me album." And I saw him on there, and I told him how much I've been following his stuff from way back in the day and stuff that. So we always used to just chop it up and stuff like that. And when I finally made my transition to LA, that's when we connected and stuff like that. But we was we was on different coasts and stuff like that. But and it just connected. We connected when I moved out here, and then he just came to my studio one day, and we just been cool since.
Yeah, he like one of the. I don't really have too many people in my circle, but he's like one of the people that I really can sit down with, and I can really talk to on a personal level. You feel me? Besides you, he's one of my closest boys. I try to always reach out to him and see what's going on. And he been turning me on to different stuff in the art world. My first time going to the Bro, Bart took me. You know what I'm saying? So
let's talk about that. That it's almost like you guys gave each other a cultural exchange, because with him speaking of how he knew of your work from Death Row, from Tupac and all that, and him introducing you to you introducing him, to that world through your artwork, and him taking you now to the Bro for contemporary art. It's almost like y'all exchanged culture and was able to trade a piece of each other and kind of get more in depth of learning who y'all are.
His trade has been way bigger than mine, though. You know what I mean? Because he didn't been putting me up on so much game, because he is somebody that's inspirational to me. He has way more pieces than me, and his whole artwork is just so incredible. Just the stuff he does, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really big for me to even be able to be in his presence, you know what I'm saying? To be able to sit down and build and the networking and just even to get his... No, I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? To even get him, you know, breaking me down and giving me lectures here and there, you know what I'm saying? It gives me a lot to really think about. I mean, because he's very talented at what he does.
So I got a quick question. So when he took you to the Bro, what was your favorite piece? And also looking at his work from Death Row, what was your favorite cover? So kind of like seeing like, you know.
What do you mean? When he took me to the Bro, what was my favorite
Yeah, what was
piece?
your favorite piece that opened your eye? I mean, of course, I think I know what you're gonna say,
You
but I'm
already know I'm gonna say Basquiat. You know what I'm saying? That was the main reason why I went. Like, because he was like, let's go to the Broad. And the first thing I said, they got Basquiat's up in there. And he was like, yeah. So, you know, I don't know. I just like seeing Basquiat's. I don't know what it is. I just like looking, and I like looking at all of the layers like that he puts into his work and all of the thought process. And all of the insignias and different scriptures that's behind some of his artwork, you know, it kind of opens your eyes up and gives you kind of knowledge at what was going on at that time and other little jewels that you could take with you today. So I just enjoy like looking at those pieces, like I really do.
Yeah. And Bart, what album covers, like when you seen of Riskie's, like I would think it would be for all of us, like the Makaveli cover just completely changed the way we saw art in hip hop.
That's true,
you know?
But it wasn't the Makaveli.
Okay.
It was the inside spread to the All Eyez on Me. The one where you had Tupac spitting game to some females and stuff like that by the car.
Oh yeah, I got that skateboard actually. Riskie got one of them skateboards.
Okay, so when I opened up that spread, I had just bought my album, and when I opened up that spread, I was trying to figure out who was doing those pieces.
Yeah.
I started seeing like all these different. Every time I seen the Death Row albums and stuff like that, I would see these illustrations. I'd be like, who's doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Then I saw that, and I was like, when I saw the open spread, it just captured, it captured everything, the essence of LA. That's where I was just like, and that's some of the things that inspired me to want to come to LA. It was some of those that piece and stuff like that. You know how he had the palm tree. He had the whole aura of Tupac. You know, just spitting game to some females that looked like some random females that was probably just walking down the street or something like that in LA. Just a nice day in LA. And that was the piece that really inspired me from his piece and stuff like that. So that spread was what did it. And to add to that kind of gave me more fuel to seeing something, to see something tangible, to be like, yo, this is a street dude that's doing something, and this album is going platinum all over the world. Everybody's seeing this stuff. And I was like, I know this dude, he a hood dude. Yeah. I was like, I know, and to see his stuff, that's what kind of like gave me a fire too, to be like, look, I can be able to go in the direction and stay in the path that I'm keep doing and stuff like that. And it just encouraged me to understand that our stuff will finally get the word. Because, back then too, nobody's really was accepting like the street art stuff now, like you see big nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
it's more commercial now.
It's very kind of like, but to see us be able to step foot and that platform that Riskie had, that Tupac gave him to put that stuff on there, that did some inspiration. Yeah,
like I was fortunate enough, like as we've talked before, to work with Riskie on his groundbreaking book. By the way, is out now. Find riskieforever.com. He's got coloring books. He's got all that there. But, touching on that, I got to actually learn more about, Riskie, more about the CDs, the drawing, the whole Death Row from the art side, because I had no clue they had a Death Row art department.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he came through and he was showing me, like, you know how when you hear people say, well, yeah, I did this for this person, this and that.
I told him.
You know what I mean? He's like, all right, well, yeah, it's all great. I mean, he was coming through with Death Row letters, with signatures, from checks from Suge and stuff like that, to where it was just like, wow, I got to relive a whole genre over.
I told him that. And like, I told him he needs to really step out of his humble box and just really explain that too and sell it, because like when he was telling he was working on the book too, I was just like, the same thing, like I was just like, I'm still gonna represent for my homie or whatever like that, but I didn't really know it was a real book. And then when he gave me it, I went home, I didn't put that book down, like I read the whole thing from front to back, and I didn't even text him. I was like, yo, you really like you just, it's like I was there. Yeah. It felt like I was right there in the office, and everything that you was doing, you painted a great picture. You told a great narrative in there, and like it just you can put the puzzle together, and it just like relive the whole death row scene and just like what he saw and experienced. But it's his story too, so like it's a book for real that tells a story.
So Riskie, when you were creating this book, well, first of all, what jumped off the idea that you needed a book about yourself?
You know, what really made me feel like I needed to write a book about myself, it was like, it seems kind of stubborn and kind of selfish at the same time, but I would see so many people that claim that they were at death row, like all of the years had passed by, you know what I mean, and they claimed they were there, but they weren't really there, and they were coming out with so many like books, so many different diaries and so much shit, like, oh, I was there, and I'm like,
I don't remember you.
I don't even remember you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was like, yo, if all of these people are doing all of these books, like, I need to tell my story. You know what I mean? And I felt like I wanted to tell my story, but at the same time, I felt like, yeah, the death row part was deep, but I felt like how I was brought up and how I ended up at death row was a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of my homeboys, they didn't even make it as far as I wanted them to do. They even get the opportunity to see that I really made it.
That you
made it. A lot of my homies were locked up in jail, and a lot of them are dead. You know what I'm saying? So I really wanted to take that opportunity and really just tell my truth. You know what I mean? And I put a lot of my truth in that book. A lot of my personal situations I put in that book. You feel me?
And like one of my favorite stories of going through the book is the story you talk about when you met Suge for the first time. You had to run and get your book, you know what I mean?
Portfolio,
the portfolio, and he was like, wait right here, or something like that. Or he's like, go get it, and you had to go back and get it. And like, can you share a little bit of that story with us?
I mean, it was right when Tupac was shooting the California Love video shoot at the Compton swap meet. You know what I mean? And that day I had ended up running some errands for my boy Cliff. You met Cliff when I brought him to art battle with me.
Dope airbrusher, amazing airbrusher.
I was working for Cliff at the time, and I didn't have no work on this particular day. So Cliff had me go to Anaheim, which we would always go shopping for our airbrush supplies at Coast Airbrush. So I ended up leaving. I went to before I left, I saw this car carrier with all of these lowriders and 6'4s and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, man, what the hell is, what's finna go down? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I ended up leaving, and when I came back, it was like groves of people.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I looked across the street, because at that time, before me and Cliff, I worked with Cliff, we were inside the Compton swap meet. Then Cliff left the Compton swap meet, and he opened up his own shop in like a town center that was like right on Bullish Road. So when I came back, I looked across and I seen all of those people, and I happened to see a couple of my little homies, and I'm like, yo, what's going on over there? And they like, yo, Tupac over there shooting a video. So I'm like, what? I said, man, I'm about to go over there. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
Because a couple of days before that, Suge had wanted to see some of my work. And see, Suge mama had a house like maybe a couple of blocks from where I live. Yeah. So when I ended up going to the house, he was having a meeting with MC Hammer or something there, somebody there. And at that time, Trayvon Lane, everybody knows about Trayvon Lane. He ended up opening the door. He was telling me Suge was busy, so I couldn't meet him at that time. So I knew that the connection was there, like that Suge wanted to see some of my work. So I just went over there. So when I went over there, I seen a big crowd of people talking to Suge, and I said, I'm trying to simplify this story as much as I can. I seen a big crowd of people talking to Suge, and I was like, yo, if I try to go up and talk to him right now, he's gonna basically give me a little of him, but he's gonna have to hurry up and put me off to get to the next person behind him. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna wait. I stood there and I waited nearly about 2 hours. And when the last person talked to him, I walked up to him and I'm saying, yo, I'm the one, I don't know if you remember my book, but I had a book with some drawings or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I remember your work. He was like, you got that book with you? And I was like, nah, I don't. But it's across the street though. He was like, go get your book. And I said, man, you ain't gonna leave, is you, man? And he was like, nah, I'm not gonna leave, little homie. Go get your book and come right back. So I took off running, like I was in the decathlon. Grabbed my book. I came back and I walked right back up to him, and he was like, come go with me. I followed behind him. We went to this white van. He opened up the door. And when he opened up the door, Tupac was inside. Wow. And he told Tupac, like, this my little homie right here, little homie. Nice. He draw. I want you to, come out and meet him, like, come look at some of his work. So Tupac got out, got to looking at my work. And maybe like 3 or 4 weeks after that, I was working on the insert for the All Eyez on Me album.
Wow. That's like
that.
yeah, just like that. And like
Yeah, quick.
we just were talking about how easy it is to have a situation change your day in LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that changed my day. It was a lot of work behind it. It wasn't just easy to just get to Death Row. We talked about that on our way here. It wasn't easy, but you know, I had that already set in my mind when I saw my first artwork on Death Row, which was the Doggy Style cover. When I looked at that and then I saw the work that Hen Dog did on the Dog Pound album, I was like, yo, I want to be like these dudes. I got to get over there.
I got to be a part of that.
I put that in my mind. I threw it in the universe, and eventually it came back. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up getting that job there. And then I turned out from being just a painter for them to bring their work to life. I end up being that artist.
The
you know what I'm saying?
throttle artist,
I'm drawing it and I'm painting it. You know what I'm saying? I end up being that guy. So
wow,
I was thankful.
Now, Bart, tell me about a situation to where it's kind of like the Suge situation, to where it's like you finally got that big break or a chance to really show your talent.
Oh, okay. When I moved to LA, the first thing I did was I came out here, starting all zero from the West, coming to the West Coast to the weather and stuff like that. Started a business with my cousin, and it was an art company where we wanted to do where I went commercial with my stuff to start off with. So the business was like just mass producing some of my pieces and prints to get into the business world of demand and supplying and stuff like that. So we created our own, you know, we just saved up our own investment and money and stuff like that, opened up our own studio. We had
from the muscle,
for everything from the scratch, from start, and we had you know, our printers and manufacturing, doing everything in house, and starting off with that. You know, the first way, we didn't know nothing about the business of that at the time.
Yeah.
But when we started that, you know, the way it started, we was gonna put out some interns. We was gonna just put out some, get some interns to just come in house and just help us with stretching and stuff like that. And we put a Craigslist ad out.
Famous Craigslist.
Yeah. So like when we put a Craigslist ad out, that's when like we got a call from another company that wanted to sell some of our stuff and do deals and stuff like that, sell some of my artwork and stuff like that. So you know, that company connected us to Wayfair and Overstock and all these different other channels, like, you know, to the larger channels and stuff like that. And our company, when we started, like I said, we was the first month we were selling like one piece of art, you know what I'm saying? By the next month, it went from that to like selling like, I was selling like over 400 to 500 pieces a month of prints and stuff like that, for canvases that we were stretching and stuff like that. And it was just me and my cousin. And it just took off from there. So we started seeing things on that matter and stuff like that. So did that for like, that company was 8 years. It was called Maxwell Dixon. So I was working under the name Maxwell Dixon on my commercial end, and with the affordable arts and stuff like that. Started that, did that for 8 years. That was doing good. We ended up moving like, we went from a business that started up to making $500,000 a year, you know, in our first year, you know, it just started scaling.
Yeah.
Did a great job, you know. Now I'm just like, as an artist now, you know, it's just more now like, let me work under my name, Bart Cooper.
Yeah.
Let me put the vision out there for some of the other deep things I want to, kind of narratives I want to put with my body of work. So like that's where I've been kind of like mostly transitioning and going into right now.
Yeah, it seems like for Riskie, it seems like you started more going toward the art side, but Bart, it seems like you started going from the business side into the art.
Yeah. So with the art, with me, art has always been my passion. Like I said, since I was age 3, I started sketching and stuff like that. But art, I never really took art serious.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I was kind of like just born and gifted with it, or whatever you say. So I didn't really take it. I just took it as a, you know, that's something I did to escape the world and all kinds of crazy stuff.
You didn't know you could have a career as an artist?
No. I didn't know I had a career. I got serious about art, I would say 6th grade, when a teacher saw one of my pieces in the art room and wanted to buy it. And I tell a story, and I used to just give my art away for free.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I saw it in the art room, I want to buy it. Wow. What's your price? I'm like, I'll give it to you for free. She's like, nah, give me a price. And I was like, $5. And she laughed. That's just like how y'all laughing, she laughed. So I thought I was I was like, all right, well, $3 then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So you went lower.
yeah, I went lower. I went very low. And then she was like, how about I write you a check for $50? I thought I came up.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, $50. All right. Well,
Yeah.
you know, that was my first check I ever, you know, sold my art for that, the highest price. And then she was like, you know what? She saw another one the next week.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I want to buy that one too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how much? 50? She was like, no, let's go 100 this time.
Wow.
So then she bought that piece. So like when she bought that, that's where like the light bulb clicked. Cause I always
commerce
been
side, yeah.
It was like, you know, I'm good at art, but I want to always make a living doing what I do. I don't want to just be starving. You know what I'm saying? So like that was my mindset, to be that, you know, that hustler, to find a way to make money off of my talents or off of my work. So like that's what sparked my interest in art. And but I came through like more on the comic book side of things. You know, Todd McFarlane, to seeing how, you know, he took Spawn and left Marvel and started their own image and stuff like that. That's where the business and the entrepreneur spirit of like taking your work and making it and selling your stuff and building your brand, that's where it came from. That's where that motivation came from. And I just went that route.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it in a...
So Riskie, on the business side, how did you see Death Row helping your career through business? Was it like, all right, you know, I'm going to get on these album covers and make it pop, or they're going to put me out there? How did you see your career growing through that?
I mean, to really be honest, when I really wanted to get on Death Row, I didn't really see the business side of stuff. You know, I just seen like, let me get my shit out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me work. Let me get my artwork out there. Let me try to get everything popping. You know what I mean? And I look more or less of like, you know, the more I worked over there, I would end up getting the money side out. You know what I mean? And plus, you know, they were already, when I first walked in the door, they were already like, you know, paying me good. You know what I mean? So I never really looked at it because I felt like I didn't really have no reason to look at the business side because I wasn't selling artwork outside of Death Row at that time. And I was always getting a check every 2 weeks. So I never really looked at it like business. I looked at it like a job.
I hear that. So like, did it feel like you were an actual working artist when you was getting paid by Death Row, or did it just feel like I'm hanging with Death Row and I'm just doing my drawing?
Exactly. I was doing my drawings and I was getting paid. Every 2 weeks I was getting a check. And not to mention was I just getting a check. I was getting bonus checks, and I was getting other artists that were coming in there that weren't Death Row artists, or they were Death Row artists, and they were paying me out of their own pocket on top of my checks.
Oh, wow.
So I remember one time I had Daz and Superfly come in. Daz wanted me to do his album cover, and Superfly wanted me to do his album cover at the same time, and Superfly wanted me to do 2 logos on top of that. And he paid me Superfly paid me $15,000, and Daz paid me $5,000. So I made 20 racks in a matter of like 3 or 4 days because I went home went home at that time I was smoking weed, went home and got me a big bag of weed, sat down and drew up Superfly's logos because all I had to do was draw those and ink them down black and white. There was logos, slid him those, worked on his album, you know, doing a couple of sketches for his album, and ended up doing Daz's Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back, and I hurry up and finish that off, and I made the 20 racks in a week. You know what I mean? So I was getting bread right there. It wasn't nothing. And besides, since when I started doing like mainly all Pac stuff, that made everybody else want me to do their stuff too. Yeah,
because I mean, like with Pac being the kind of like the lead artist of Death Row.
At that time, he was the lead artist. He just came and took it to a whole entirely. Snoop took it up there, but Pac took it beyond there. He took it to the moon. Snoop took it to outer space. Pac took it to the moon.
So was Death Row kind of like your first gallery experience, and was Maxwell Dixon, like Bart, your first gallery, quote unquote, commerce experience?
I can't even say it was a gallery experience because I never had my stuff hanging on the white wall. Well, I mean, now I have a couple of paintings here and there in certain little situations. I don't even really call them big situations, but I looked at my stuff as more along the lines of not hanging on the walls, but being in people's hands. Like, you know what I mean? Because at that time, it wasn't no digital. Everybody was going out buying CDs. So my stuff, millions and millions and millions of eyeballs. Not just one eyeball saw it. So when one eyeball looked, it was 2 eyeballs.
It was 2 eyeballs.
You feel me? So you just double that. So
you just double it,
people were seeing my work. You know what I mean?
So like, in kind of like going into that, like, with Bart, with you scaling the business to $500,000 a year and you having millions of people seeing, the artwork, how did you guys feel that you could fit in the fine art world? Because it seems like you were already excelling before you even got into the fine art world. Right. So how did it change for you once you seen that it was a possibility of entering fine art?
Okay, so to get in the fine art world, for me, it feels like I gotta kind of like scale it back a little bit to move forward a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So like,
interesting.
Also being like, I've always been, I'm classically trained and stuff like, so I always had an understanding of the fine art world. Going to schools and stuff like that, taking classes and courses and doing some little events here and there and stuff like. So I kind of understand it. But like I said, with on the commercial end that I was doing those things, I can put out pieces, but I couldn't really express some deep, intellectual conversations or narratives or a body of work where we're doing series and just like touching on certain topics and going into that. So like with the art world, that's why like going into it now is giving me that passion to push my brain into those levels where like we can now see the introspectory of what I'm trying to put out now, and like where now you can see like, okay, this artist, he's definitely talented, but now let's go into the brains of like where his the method of his madness of what he's trying to put in now. So I love it in the art world. So it's not a problem for me. I kind of understand it. So it's looking good. It's looking good.
I feel that. So with you having to scale that back, do you think that you were able to invite more of yourself into the art world? Because if you're doing things commercially, you're making it for a longer or a larger audience. Do you think you're able to scale it, more finite?
I believe so. And then I also have, followings of collectors and stuff like that are now interested in that one-off piece, that looking into like what message this guy is trying to do with his body of work. So it makes it easier for me to go into that world, but scaling it back, meaning like technology, like running your own business. I had my own studio. I had a gallery and everything, in my studio and stuff like that. So so scaling back, meaning before, when you're in a business mode in a commercial field, it's more about the dollars and making the money and transactions and sales and stuff like that. Now when I'm going into the fine art world, it's more about, like I said, the introspective part of me, of where my thoughts are, the issues I want to tackle, like the messages that I want to put in, convey through the body of work. So that is why I want to go into the fine art world, just being able to have a deeper message throughout the pieces and stuff like that. And that's where it's giving me that opportunity to tap into those things, to push my creativity as an artist to that level, to have people understand like, okay, this guy's a great talent, but he's also has a beautiful brain, a mind, and there's a message in his pieces that's gonna last, for cultures and speak for generations.
So for both of y'all, what do you think has been like, I wouldn't say the hardest, but it's been like one of those things that is like a headache breaking into the fine art world? I know we've talked about plenty of different things, from the favoritism to the nepotism to all the other tisms that go around in the world and all the isms. But what has been the biggest obstacle about getting into fine art?
I feel like the biggest obstacle is other people. You feel me? I feel like, just me personally, when I go to different states besides the state I live in, and I go out there and I get to networking and I get to meeting people, and they find out who I am and what I've done, they try to push me through doors. And when I come out here to Los Angeles and I try to network with people, they lock the doors and turn the lights off. You feel me? They want to hold me back. I call it hold me back from the bag. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just a lot. It's just a lot of that in the whole LA scene. You know what I mean? I got some good friends, some great friends, and I got those friends that are just attention whores. You feel me? And they feel like that anytime you come around them, if you're just a little bit better than them, you might take a little spotlight from them. So therefore, they don't want you around. They want to baller block you from everything. You feel me? And I feel like those are the people that I don't even really want to be around. So if I recognize that in you, I don't even want to be around you. I'd rather not even create the friendship with you, because before me being an artist, I'm a street dude at the same time. So I'm not going to fake it with you. If I don't like you, I'm not going to deal with you. If I see that negativity in you, I'm going to stay away from you, because I don't want to be drawn back. I'm a changed person, so I don't want to be drawn back into the person that I used to be dealing with that.
And then probably like, you know, if going through, we talked about the Vlad interviews and all that, hearing about just surviving and living in the death row environment.
Yeah,
wasn't none of that type of shit going down.
No, it wasn't none of that. When I was at death row, we had Bloods and Crips on the label, and we were all chilled together. It wasn't no, where you from?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Or people going in the hall fighting because they, you know, they seeing different people with different rights. It wasn't none of that. We all came together, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like, if somebody had from the blue side or from the red side, if either one of them had a gig where you can make money or they can hook you up with something that you can get some bread, we all did that with each other. Now on the outside of that don't really exist.
Yeah.
And me personally, I've never been a part of the so-called art world. I've never been a part of that, because I like to tell people I was already doing street art before it was street art. You feel me? I remember laying on the floor in front of my TV drawing in my books. Those were my fondest memories of really being an artist before I started making money off of it. When I started making money off of it, it changed my whole outlook of what art was, you know what I'm saying? And now, just dealing with people and in those type of situations, I'd rather just not even deal, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like any spotlight that anybody can take from you, it was never yours to begin with.
Yep.
So I feel like if I can come around you and I can take your spotlight, or if you want to keep me from taking your spotlight, I'm going to stay the hell away from you, and I'm going to go over there and I'm going to create my own light bulb, and eventually it'll turn into a beam and it'll be a spotlight. When my time is destined for me, it'll come, and I'm not going to beg or try to steal nobody else's art. I'm not even a thief, so I don't even steal your spotlight. Yeah. Because a lot of times when I go with my friends, like, I've been to plenty of art shows with Bart, you know, he been doing his thing or whatever, and people might meet me. I don't pass out info at other people's events. I just don't do that. I feel like that's disrespectful, because I feel like any event I go to for an artist, that day is all about them. So I'm coming to take part in the celebration for them. I don't pass out my information, you feel me? I wouldn't do that to anybody else at any other get down that they might be having. So I just feel like I said, if I feel that energy, I just won't even be around you, you feel me? Because I don't want to have any arguments or disagreements about your wanting to be professional or you want to be a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? Because I already know who I am at the beginning.
Well, most people's spotlight ain't even theirs to begin with. They don't even know that the spotlight ain't theirs to begin with.
I cannot, certain people, like Bart, he already knew from the Instagram situation. Certain artists that I don't meet, I don't tell them my background. Yeah. That's not my pickup line. You feel me? That I used to do this or I used to do that forever. That's not my pickup line. You feel me? I just meet certain artists and I network with them because of that. Because once they find out or they feel like, oh, this guy did this, I don't want him around me.
Yeah, they get threatened.
No, I don't even tell you. You know what I'm saying? So that way when I come around you, it could be a cool, peaceful environment and I don't have to worry about the fake shit. You feel me? So when they find out and they come and say, you did such and such white, bro, that's not my pickup line. That's not my pickup line. I'm out here just like you trying to, you know, make my way. Because after all of these years, it's been 20-something odd years, and I'm still trying to prove.
Still doing it,
who I am. I'm still doing it and still trying to prove. Because we didn't have social media, MySpace, Facebook, Instagram. We didn't have none of that. I'm pretty sure if I would have had that, I'd probably be blown beyond belief by now.
Oh, man, especially in that era?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I would have had Pac, Snoop, anybody. Hey, can you get on my gram real fast?
Oh, that would have been immediate.
You know what I'm saying?
That would have been immediate.
Yeah. So I just do me.
So Bart, same question to you, brother.
What was the question again?
Sorry. What are the obstacles that you face trying to, you know, reassociate yourself with art, but through the fine art world?
Okay. To piggyback on a little bit of what Riskie was saying, to me is I'm just learning more. I mean, to be honest, the reason why I even went the route that I went before was because, like I said, classically trained, being in classes, talking about fine art, studying the history and stuff like that. A lot of it is, at the time, you know, I was a lot younger and I didn't really I just wanted to draw and create and paint. So like a lot of the talking and critiquings, it was either I like it or I don't like it. Yeah. We don't need to go deeper into this, you know. But learning the rules and laws and formulas of art and all those other foundation, I can appreciate it now. But stepping into the fine art world now, I noticed that one of the things that was irritating for me, which I'm starting to learn a little bit. Me and Riskie go back and forth with this thing all the time. Is like, I'm understanding the politics, and I'm like, politics, there's a difference between artists and politics in the art world. And that's where I'm understanding it, and I'm like, you know what? I can appreciate the politics side of it, and then, but I have to also be cordial in that world to understand why the politics exist and what I'm in here to do and the message that I'm coming to bring. But loving technology as well as where things are going, and social media and just all these other platforms that are opening up to where your pieces can get seen, all over the world before you even step into a gallery or anything nowadays. It makes it even better because your work is going to show. So like if you have a message, you can now be able to push yourself without depending on anyone. So stepping into the fine art world now, I'm fully confident that I can step in there because I'm not going in there like Riskie said, I'm not going in there looking for anything or a handout or any kind of situation. I'm just here to showcase my pieces, and if people love it, gravitate to it. If you don't love it, people are still going to gravitate to it because we're in the social media era, and we have platforms now where you can be able to showcase your stuff. You don't need to go through certain channels to get your stuff seen or seen at other collectors buy your stuff, because I've grabbed collectors from all over that seen my stuff that they hit me up directly. But I love coming into the fine art world. Like I said, it's politics, and I'm that's where I'm a student to. I could say I'm a student to that. The art, I'm always learning on my craft and learning the things of that, and I'm definitely a student in the art game. But most of all, I would say I'm pretty seasoned in the art world. But politically, emotionally, like all those other things that come, I'm still learning that lingo.
I don't even get why the art world have so many politics. Ain't no president in this shit.
Probably the money.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the money, and also we've seen, especially in the last 10 years, the influence that art has had on commerciality, especially with branding. We see a lot of legal efforts being thrown toward art. Like I remember a bunch of artists were being sued actually by Mercedes.
Wow.
Because Mercedes used their artwork in their commercial, and the artist said something about it. So I guess the artists were like saying, shit about Mercedes, as they should. They're using their artwork without permission, but Mercedes kind of like flipped it on them, like, hey, you guys are defaming Mercedes and all that. So like it went to a whole different thing about who has rights when it comes to street art, public art, graph, or even actually fine art, because there's been cases where a lot of big brands have just stolen works and have just literally just taken and ran with them. Has any of that ever happened to you guys, like intellectual property wise, where someone has actually taken your idea, maybe a Tupac idea or maybe an idea that you've done through business, and literally ran with it and act like there was no crime committed?
You know what? I've probably seen stuff like that, but sometimes I just chuckle at it because I have so much body of work that it's just like, and I'm constantly always evolving. So I guess when I get to the point where I have managers and, lawyers or just whatever, they can handle those things. But like I said, I always come at it as a student, and I understand too, nothing's new under the sun. When it really comes down to it, I constantly am evolving. So yeah, but I don't think I've seen it yet. I'm sure if Disney grabbed some of my stuff and then ran with it, maybe I might raise an eyebrow and have to be like, no, I need a check or something like that. But I've seen other artists, and I've seen them. Like I said, I look at it sometimes. I just look at it as like, I see my DNA in that piece. But, once again, I can't even speak for myself, because speaking for my artists, nothing is new under the sun. So, like, there's a lot of artists that inspire me that I can pay homage to and say, look, this is some of the I can name those names of who and give them their homage and give them their credit of where I got some of that style or technique from. So, like, I look at it like that. But just recently, I did a piece, and I actually posted it and stuff like that. Here's the other power of Instagram when you have your own followers and stuff like that. There was a gallery in Florida, and they posted a work, and they posted it on their page. But the work was someone took pieces of my work and put it on their work. Like they literally just printed out my pieces and put it on the artwork with theirs and stuff like that. Yeah. Very, very. When I saw that,
that's bold.
I was like, that was very bold. I was like, I chuckled at first. I was like, huh, like that. I never seen that one before. So when I saw it, you know, reached out to them, of course, gave them their cease and desist, like take that stuff down. I didn't get a response, so I was like, okay, so I didn't get a response, and they still got the post. So I was just like, you know, this person probably wants some smoke.
Yeah.
Everybody that's following me, please. I was like, everybody that's following me, go on their page and tell them how you feel about that.
Yeah. Yep.
By the end of the night, the lady that owned the gallery, she hit me back up apologizing, like all this story and This person loved your work. I was like, even if they love my work, I can see if you did a rendition similar, but you literally just printed out my stuff and then collaged it with your pieces with all my stuff on there. I was like, that's just insane. That's crazy.
Did she know about that happen? The gallery owner, did she know about that happening before you had? Because I mean, the power of Instagram was that you ever get everybody to, you know, unify against that as well.
Oh, my street side almost came out because it wasn't even gonna be a cease and desist. The next thing I was gonna say was, and I joke about this, but I was probably dead serious. I was like, somebody go into that gallery and throw a pie at it. Just throw a pie at it, and there's nothing they can do to you because that's my work right there.
Yeah, that's your work, and you told them.
You are better than me because I hit you up like, take that shit down.
But I did do
you
that.
know what I mean? You take my shit down. Didn't nobody? I don't recall giving you permission to run my shit.
Oh man,
take my shit down.
Yeah.
the street in me just happens to take my shit down.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. And it was done through like I said, it was interesting because once it was a gallery. They had their address and everything like that on there. So like I already knew it was gonna be easy to reach them to get my stuff down. Yep. The only thing was, like I was like, the first thing was I was just giving, because I didn't know if the gallery knew that that's what was the problem.
Was happening.
You know what I'm saying? Or if the artist was the one ripping, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know what was going there. So I gave them that mercy email, the text message first.
Yeah, like that, you know, the courtesy call.
The courtesy. Then the second one, when I didn't get it, I was like, they want some smoke.
Yeah, they want
Send
the
it
smoke.
over there. Then I was watching the comments and stuff like that, and then the gallery was trying to defend it. So then I sent her a DM. I sent her a DM, and I sent her my original, like, here, that's the piece right there.
Yeah.
So when she saw that, that's when she reached out, apologizing and everything, and and I was just like, you know what? Just take it down, get rid of that whole thing, and let's move forward with this. But like, you know, that's just unacceptable. You know,
they say the biggest form of flattery is imitation. You feel me?
I mean,
not that way.
Yeah, I hear that, but when somebody's imitating you and making money, that shit ain't flattering. That'll piss you off. That's when you got them bills that need to be paid.
Exactly.
And you seeing that going down.
And they paying their bills off of your hard work.
Woo.
Yeah.
Man.
But I mean, you know, it's kind of hard to really touch on that anyway, because right now while we're talking, somebody is making a Makaveli shirt.
Yeah.
Somebody is copying your shit.
Yeah.
Some part of this world right now, somebody is doing it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to keep a track of all of that. You know what I mean?
Do you think with, like, we talked about a little bit of technology earlier. Do you think like the added technology of like a blockchain or augmented reality and stuff like that will help to kind of combat some of the copying or some of the fakes and things like that are out there? Because like we said, we know somebody's copying. You know, somebody could be out there bootlegging prints, books, sculptures.
Man, it's really hard because, like you said, in the world that we live in, you know what I mean? It's like all social media, all you posting your work in order for people to understand it and for people to really get the opportunity to see it. Now, it is a great platform, but there's so many loopholes in that whole social media thing. So what I had to start doing was, when I started putting work up there, I had to start tagging it, putting my name in it. When my partner starts putting stuff on my website, I had to start having her drop the resolution on stuff. So if you try to blow it up any bigger than that, it becomes pixelated.
Yeah.
So it's different things that you could do in order to protect your work. So I just trying to look at those things, because I feel like if I'm not posting nothing, there's nothing for nobody to see. And if there's nothing for nobody to see, where am I getting a crowd?
Where you getting a crowd? Yeah.
And I mean, I also put it out there too, like, you know, like I get the mind-blowing situations where when someone sees my work on my Instagram or on social media versus when they see it in person, different reaction and stuff like that to that situation too. So, but with technology, I understand that's what comes with the game. Like, I mean, we're moving at a fast pace to the point where laws and rules are not even made, to the point where, like, you got people that don't even know what bootlegging is, that's in different countries, like that's normal to them. So you know, so when you see that situation going on, you can't even legally even catch some guy that's in some.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually interesting when I went to Hong Kong for our Basel last year. One of my classmates at Sotheby's, she's actually from I want to say Shanghai or Shenzhen, one of the countries in mainland China, and she was telling me about an area where all they do is duplicate oil paintings.
It's crazy.
Like I'm talking about to a T, and they're great. And it just makes me think, like, if there is a town where there's tons of painters where this is happening, how many pieces of modern Renaissance impressions and all that are actually real out there?
Yeah.
You know, like, what's actually real? And it just kind of like blows my mind. And, you know, kind of going off that, it's like when people can easily buy knockoffs or fakes, how does an artist continue to build their brand in a saturated market like that?
With me, my art always, the message behind my art and coming into the fine art world is challenging it, because I want to challenge other artists to wake up and understand that I want you to evolve. Yeah. I said, one of the quotes that I use is art requires evolution, meaning like you as an artist, I think it's your duty to evolve and get uncomfortable in some of the situations that you've been working in or getting comfortable in. And I've seen, like, you know, we do need to brand ourselves. So sometimes, you know, you stick to a certain sort of style, but I feel like, you know, as an artist, you always want to push yourself. So like, as you're always evolving, by the time someone, and learning the business side of it, if someone starts knocking off your stuff, you're already onto something new, to the point where, like, you're always evolving and pushing yourself to your art, your artistry, or your message, or your vision to the next level. So if you're constantly evolving, I don't think that's something that's gonna, like, I mean, financially, like, that can be a problem and stuff like that. But from an artist perspective, I say encourage yourself to continue to evolve, because it's just gonna be hard to stop those things. You know what I'm saying?
Can't stop a moving train.
It's just gonna be one of those things that the where we're going, it's gonna be so much different mediums that's coming out, so many different platforms. You know, you have things that are not even, like I said, you have production artists now that are like, you know, they're not even touching the medium anymore. It's a team of people.
Like so Jeff Koons.
Got, and I'm not knocking none of those things, but like at the end of the day, I'm an artist, so like I'm just looking at the vision being portrayed. So if I was the one that put that vision into existence, I'm looking for the next vision to put into existence, and hoping that I do get a check from it, that I can make a living doing it. So I just encourage people to continue to evolve as an artist, because it's very easy to get stuck. You know, because if I'm working on something and I've been doing circles for 20 years, and everybody starts knocking me off and doing circles and doing the same similar thing, and then start making money off of it, I can sit there and take them to court and fight it. But guess what? I'm not creating anymore. Now I'm just focused on legal. I'm focused on that. So I say just keep evolving, because if I see, like I said, I got so much body of work and I'm constantly evolving. So when someone's knocking off this one, that's like, you know, there's always something new that I'm coming out with to continue to push my creativity and keep me in the creative side of things. And hopefully I can, like I said, to start hiring people to handle the business side of things. But I just want to focus on the creativity and not stop my creative flow. And that's how I look at those things. But I love it. Like I said, I love where technology is going. It's a love-hate, because I feel like laws are not moving as fast enough of what's going on. And those knockoffs, like you just said, man, like, you got 20 people in a room that can do Rembrandts and exactly to a T, you know? So who knows what's in those museums, if it's even that anymore, and what it's priced at. That's politics.
That's the good thing about it. So like, and like that same question, Riskie, like with all the new technology, like with your talent plus technology, you'll be able to recreate almost a hologram version drawing of a Pac. Now, when you are able to see some of the, like, I mean, you've created, especially in the coloring books, situations that I've seen. I was like, damn, do I even remember seeing Tupac in that situation or something like that? To where you've almost created new life, new situations for Pac to be in. When you start to see those situations, kind of like if you've seen a scene that you drew in a new Tupac video that just happened to come out in 2021, how would that make you feel? Let's say if, damn, like somebody just bit my work and I actually spent time with this man.
I don't know. It might kind of piss me off then because I know how hard it is trying to get with the estate to be able to work with him. You know, when I was an actual factual person that really worked with him, and they make it so hard to be able to work with them. You know what I mean? So that would kind of piss me off. But so far as like you're saying, with all of the new technology and stuff that's going on in the world, I just try to adapt to different things. Like it was just like I had never tried to draw anything like digitally, and it was like here we go again with Bart. I went to his spot one time and he ended up showing me an iPad, the iPad Pro, and I started looking at it, and he was basically like, you got your whole studio in your hand. Like you don't have to worry about having no paints and spilling this or taking this or try to travel that. When you traveling, you got your whole studio in your hand. So I end up talking to him like after that, and then when I end up leaving, I end up going to get my own. You know what I mean? So I started working with it and started learning it. So you know, he gave me, you know, life to learn and something a little bit about that in order for me to even upgrade myself to be able to be a part of that technology, because I was so used to still pulling out pads and pens and markers and canvases and stuff, and now I could do stuff digitally now, you know what I mean? So it's like you said, it's always, you got to always upgrade yourself and be prepared to move to the next level with things, and like that's what I always try to do. And I wasn't even computer literate, and now I am now, you know what I mean?
So as we're starting to come down to the wrap up, what's in the future for both of your careers? Like, what should we expect, you know, arts-wise, business-wise, just growth-wise?
For me, new location, new frame of mind, and escaping the politics. You feel me? And when I am involved in the politics, I'll be coming back as a whole different person. So I'll be able to move around the way that I want. People won't be able to control how I move. Because I feel like the new location, that's going to give me an opportunity to get away from some of these heads that are out here that feel like they hold me back. And I'm going to go out here and do my thing, and I'm going to catch right back up to your ass. And when I catch up to your ass, you ain't got to do no explaining, but you gonna do some wanting to talk to me, because you know you always notice the people that like they tend to like ignore you, don't want to give you no attention or whatever. But as soon as you get on, there they go on your phone or
back again.
Like Suge used to say, let's do lunch. Like I'm not that guy. You feel me? So the same energy that you have now, keep that energy.
Keep it.
You feel me?
Keep the energy.
Because I'm unplugging. You feel me? You won't be having this energy. But when I do come back, keep that energy. Don't come around me. Don't try to bask in none of this. Because if you know me and you really know me, you know I'm a climb, because I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler first and foremost. So that's all for me. Just be looking for me with this new location and this new frame of mind to come back.
Bart?
Well, with me, like I said, you started off, I'm also a business person, business person and art person. That's the two things I want to be more proficient in. I think the art, I kind of get that. The creative side, I got that. The business side, I'm sharpening myself in to understand that, look, I want to come into different worlds. I'm one of those artists that step into multiple worlds of the art field, the creatives, and I've done a lot of stuff. So like, I've came from the computer animation world, the 3D animation world, you know, to the fine art world. So there's so many different skills and aspects to what I'm bringing to the table. So I'm always evolving in those things. One of the key things I say is, you know, just learn the rules so you can break them. So, you know, once I learn the rules and the formulas of things, I can break those rules. And that's what I challenge any world that I step into. I want to challenge it and push myself to the next level of me being this creator that I was designed to be. So that's the name Be Art. That's it for short right there. So like I'm just pushing myself. So like whichever way that can push me and for my art to be the best me and to evolve and to challenge other artists to evolve, but then also be on their business to learn how to profit from their creativity and really get the bang for their bucks out of their creative ability. That's what I want to do. In the business world, I see myself stepping into I'm already into the art world. I got collectors already, bodies of work that people are going to see, and I want the fine art world to understand and see that too, and respect what I'm bringing to the table as well, to respect my brain and my message that I'm bringing to the contributing to the art world. I want to also be able to educate artists. I want to also be able to educate the fine art world too. You know what I'm saying? So some of the different worlds that I've dabbled in, and how we can bring those things in.
Oh yeah.
So those are some of the things. And then I also, I love the commercial art world as well. Because I love having an aesthetic for hotels. Deals and stuff like that, to be able to say, look, okay, they're designing a hotel in Vegas or Dubai or something like that, and the whole aesthetics of that is Egyptian centered.
Yeah.
Let me sit in there and be a creative brain to be
Just
able to
think
produce
it out.
a body of work that can fill this whole hotel. So like, I'm really trying to step outside of the box, and that's how I've always been moving. I don't like to be staying into a constraint.
Yeah.
As an artist, I always want to evolve and expand my creativity, talent, and skills. So that's why I see myself continue to move.
Cool. Well, thank you to Bart Cooper and Riskie Forever for an amazing conversation. And, lunch again, Summer Buffalo. If y'all around on Melrose, go check it out. We
that's my new
full.
spot.
We've been out here talking to y'all. So, peace.
Peace.